Whenever you think of ancient Israel, you probably think of the Bible. Abraham being awestruck of the prophecy of God while looking up at the numerous numbers of the stars in the sky, the epic wars recorded in the book of Joshua, and many other stories that you've heard in church plenty of times. But one may ask, what is the earliest extra-biblical mention of Israel throughout history? That answer may be carved into a 7.5-foot tall monument found in western Thebes. In 1896, British archaeologist Flinders Pierre found the Merneptah stele. The merneptah stele is a 13th century BC monument that records the military victories of the Egyptian pharaoh Merneptah. As you read it, Merneptah is essentially hyping himself up as a god among men, boasting about his military victories against the Libyans. As you get towards the bottom, though, it deals with a different campaign, a campaign in Canaan. As you see, we're already getting close to Israel. As we read about Canaan's captivity and civilization's non-existence, we get to something odd on line 28. A translation from christianleaders.org says, "Israel is wasted, bare of seed." Now, this seems to imply a total annihilation of the people in Israel, but we see Jewish people scattered throughout history afterwards, and we see stories in the Bible that happen after this time period. So what gives? Did someone get something wrong? Not quite. When the word seed is mentioned in this document, it refers to a land's grain or descendants. But as mentioned earlier, we see Jewish people after this event happens. So after this document takes place. So this is likely hyperbolic language. Something fascinating to point out is that the determinative classifies Israel as a people group instead of a city, unlike how it classifies these other cities. This actually coincides with the biblical timeline in two excellent ways. Is that this is the time period during the Judges. And during that time, Israel was not a united kingdom yet, like it would be under King Saul, King David, and Solomon, and all those kings. This time period in the biblical timeline during the Judges, would line up with this historical data very well. And second, while the Bible does not record a military conflict between Israel and Egypt during this time period, an Egyptian conflict would actually coincide with this part of the biblical timeline. Essentially, the book of Judges falls into a cycle. Essentially, in the book of Judges, the people would fall into sin, God would allow other nations to attack Israel, the people would repent, and there would be peace once again. Israel being in a cycle of war during this time, an attack from Egypt could have been very well possible, but not recorded in the Bible for whatever reason. Alright, so how does this affect modern day biblical translation and studies today? As we've gone over, the events described in the Merneptah stele line up strikingly well with the biblical timeline. As we see, Israel is described as a people group, and not as a kingdom, like how it would be during this time in the biblical timeline. This helps out everyone in the Christian church, all the way from the scholar, to the pastor, to the average layman. Because while all these people are reading the Bible, they can be confident that the Bible that they are reading is historical and reliable. And it lines up with the historical data that we have today. So next time you're reading the book of Judges, keep in mind that the heroes that you're reading about might have come across Merneptah and his crew.